Well, good morning and welcome to Cityline. It is great to be in your home. We are zooming from, my kitchen, and we have a fabulous hour ahead of us. Later on in the hour, we'll be talking with Tacoma Little Theater, and we'll be talking about their upcoming Christmas musical on their main stage. The Museum of Glass will be here to talk about what's happening in their hot shop. And if you haven't watched Blown Away on Netflix, you need to do that because, of course, it features our lovely town. Christmas Revels will be here. You can never say Christmas without revels in Tacoma. They are a long-held tradition, and we are so glad they are back. The Humane Society of Tacoma Pierce County will be here with their Pet of the Week. And with me now, okay, once in a while in this position, I get to meet people that I have mad admiration and respect for, but I've never met them. But I've watched them on TV, and I have the pleasure this morning of talking to Council Member Lillian Hunter. Lillian, welcome to Cityline.
Well, good morning. You certainly set the bar high with that introduction there. And what a treat to meet you, Amanda, and what a treat to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Oh, my pleasure. And like I said, I've wanted to meet you for so long, and I kept hoping that whoever was tapping me on the shoulder in that market saying Lillian would be you. But then that would be something different if you were calling me Lillian. Lillian, your time on the council is coming to an end. In the next 13 minutes, we have a lot to cover. But first question is, let's rewind 4 years. And what inspired you, of all things, to run for council?
Well, Amanda, let's rewind 5 years because that's when the campaign started. 4 years ago is when I successfully won the seat in the election. I've lived in Tacoma for 50 years as an immigrant kid getting here with my parents. Tacoma's been good to me. And I've also followed the path of a life of service leadership in the work that I've done before council and along the way. This seemed to me as a capstone, sort of a giving back legitimately to the city that has been so good to me. And it was just an accumulation or culmination of all my other activities, my previous career, et cetera, coming together in this wonderful fashion where I could spend 4 years doing my best to serve the residents and the citizens of Tacoma. And that was it. It was a service-oriented capstone. I owe this to the city, want to do something grand before I head into the wonderful world of retirement, whatever that means.
I have a prediction. Movers and shakers like you don't really retire. Movers and shakers like you just find new projects to do. That's what they typically do. You have an interesting district. You are an at-large council member, which means you're not representing a specific council district, but city as a whole. So to break it down, you don't have like District 2, which would be your constituents and your people you always wanted to really keep in touch with. Does that present some special challenges, or did it present some special challenges, especially Lillian, the 4 years you had, which almost 2 years of that was COVID?
Indeed. Being the at-large representative, one of the three on the council, I don't know that it's really a challenge as much as it presents special opportunities. And that's how I prefer to look at it. There are issues that affect Tacoma that are global issues. They affect every single district. And it's important to have someone sitting in a position that can see the whole picture as opposed to just focus on an individual council district. So we have had, COVID certainly was an example of a global issue that needed that perspective. So I view that as an opportunity. And then there are special projects that one can lean into as the at-large representative. For instance, I've been doing significant work on getting Tacoma identified as an aging-friendly city through the World Health Organization. Very global, very important. But the other piece with regard to the council members who have specific districts. It's tough to be the single person in the district addressing those issues that are unique to that district. And I think it's important for the at-large city council member to provide the support that each one of those council members might need to push an issue forward or to remedy an issue, to problem solve, so that we're there for support, for collaboration, and to move an agenda forward that helps that particular district, if not the entire city. So at large, not so much a challenge as multiple opportunities and just trying to ferret out which opportunity to focus on at any given time.
You know, now I'm starting to look at the city council a little different in the sense of when people had issues that were indicative of their district, someone who is being at large is a great ear to run things by, because they don't live, like you just said, don't live in the district, and they may have a fresher eyes, or they may have that 30,000 feet looking down point of view.
Exactly.
That you can't get when you are focusing on construction on Hilltop.
Well, and the other piece is if there's an issue with construction on Hilltop, we also have had some experience with construction in other parts of the city, and how was that remedied, or what did we learn from that? How can we apply it at that time? So at-large members have the ability or the capacity, the opportunity, kind of be the glue that holds things together and start connecting dots. And as I said, building alliances and working together collaboratively to get some good results and to get them sooner rather than later.
Yes.
That's the goal.
It is. So speaking of good results, as you look back on your time on the council, what are some of the accomplishments, Lillian, that you are most proud of?
Well, I am particularly proud of the city's ability to pivot and respond to COVID. That we went from being an in-person endeavor to a remote endeavor really at the blink of an eye. And that I will credit staff with there. But as you pointed out, we as the city, as so many other businesses, have learned to operate in the virtual world. And in doing so, there's actually been some benefit to that. We have found that it's easier for people to engage once they figure out how to call in for citizens forum or community forums and engage in that. So that's created opportunities for more people to watch what's happening with the city council and to engage with us. So believe it or not, positive things coming out of COVID. Pre-COVID, I think one of the most significant things that happened for this council was the tenant rights action. And if you remember going back almost 4 years, the very sad story of the residents of the Tiki apartments, where they were given short notice to relocate with no help and very little notice, weeks actually. And what we discovered as a council at that time is that we had policy that allowed that. There was in code that was allowable. Maybe it made sense at one point. It no longer made sense, and it actually had turned into a policy that resulted in a legitimized cruel and heartless action. We changed that and we set a model that the rest of the state has followed. Very proud of that work on many levels, not just from a policy level, but a humanitarian level. That was good. That was some good work.
I love that.
Yes, and then the other piece of work that I've been doing, I've also been the mayor's designee, along with Councilmember Toms, on the South Sound 911 governing board. Major transitions there, and I'm finishing out my term as the chair of the governing board that has just recently been reconfigured with the marriage of all of these multiple districts coming together to create a emergency response that's coordinated amongst our first responders. I won't go into detail on that, but that was some very good work, gave me the opportunity to work regionally. And we did a very good thing, and that building just opened here a few months ago, that up on Pacific Avenue, where the old Puget Sound Hospital used to be.
Yep.
Good stuff, good work, proud of that, and just so honored to have been a part of that.
That absolutely good work, unbelievable. And I have marveled at our Tacoma Council in the sense of how resilient they have been with 300 people on a phone call waiting to talk. I have to tell you, it's like, man, they just hang in there. And you, Lillian, often hang in there. And I see you writing, taking, very detailed notes. And I always think, what is she thinking? So as you have a long history of volunteer and community service here in Tacoma, will that continue?
It will. My plan is to go into retirement. I think it will last, I give it 3 weeks. And then I'm going to be looking around for something. I will have arranged the spice cabinet, gotten all of that alphabetized. And then I'm going to start looking at where I might be able to be of assistance and make some impact there, or help and support probably some of our nonprofits that are doing good work that might need a little extra guidance in how they work with the city council or policy making. And then I'm also more than likely going to dip my toe back into the education world.
Yes.
And to see if there isn't something at the community or technical college where I can play a role there as well.
Oh, I love that. I will be looking forward to that, and I know it will happen. So your new at-large council member is Kira Daniels, and she is just incredibly lovely. What advice do you have for council member Daniels as she is looking forward to taking her oath and getting her first agenda?
Yes, she is. And I want to applaud her efforts. She started early. She worked hard. And when we talk about the old axioms of having a fire in the belly to do the work, she certainly has that. And I think she's an asset, and the voters in Tacoma did well to elect her to the position. So go, Kira. I would think my advice, I have an opinion on things and everyone's entitled to it. But here's the challenge, not just for Kira, but for everyone. And this is my viewpoint, is we have a duty to represent everyone in our district or in our city, not just the people who agree with our points of view. And that gets difficult because it takes some self-discipline to spend the time talking with people who have various points of view and taking time to find the truth in their point of view, and where do we have an intersection or an overlap. And that takes patience, and it takes a willing to collaborate and compromise. And in today's political environment, collaboration and compromise, that's not really a popular thing. And so I would encourage Kira to really stay the course, understand that we have a duty to represent everyone, and have conversations with people who don't think like you do. You'd be surprised what you can learn. And at the end of the day, you might find that you have more in common than you would think. So find that common ground and build on that, and be patient, and try to have the criticism that people will roll at you if you're not a purist in their train of thought. Because at the end of the day, if we can come together and compromise and collaboration, we're going to get something done, and it's better for the city. And it may not be as flamboyant, as dramatic as if you hold the line and then all or nothing type of position. Mm-hmm. Relent, open your mind, keep an open mind, have those discussions, and then make your decisions accordingly.
Wise words, Lillian, wise words.
Yeah.
Hey, Lillian, I don't know how to say thank you for what you have done for our community. Your whole life you've given back to our community. So I thank you is not enough. And also I want to say thank you that you are staying here, and that we get to bask in your intelligence and in your wisdom and your vision for the city that you have developed by being in that at-large position. You're an at-large thinker. And I look forward to seeing who is smart enough to grab you and put you on a new project. I have a few thoughts, but Fred and I are placing bets who's going to get you first.
Well, They know where to find me. I'm over here in South End, Tacoma, a South End girl through and through. And
Yes.
I just want to, those are very kind words, Amanda, and certainly I appreciate you getting me all fluffed up here on a cold Wednesday morning. But I also want to just take a moment to thank the city of Tacoma and the residents and the voters who had the confidence to move me forward and who have stood with me these past 4 years. And I leave with just, you know, a sense of gratitude that I was able to do this work. A little frustrated we weren't able to do more. I wanted to solve all of the world's problems, including Tacoma's, but we made a dent, and I was only able to do that through the grace of the citizens and residents of Tacoma. And I'm very grateful for that. Appreciate that I had this opportunity. And stay tuned. You'll hear more from me, I'm sure.
I love that. All right. Lillian, thank you so, so very much.
And Amanda, happy to have finally been here. And Matt, you asked me at the beginning why I ran for office. Says I was hoping for an interview with you. So thank you for making that happen before I left the city council. My life as a council member is complete.
That's right. Interview with Amanda, check. I can go home now. Right.
I am home.
Yeah, that's right. Lillian, have a great holiday season, and I hope to see you soon.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Thank you, Amanda.
You are more than welcome.
I appreciate you and TV Tacoma. Bye-bye.